Hey, what's up, guys? So up next, we're going to do Dax, Black Lives Matter, official lyrics and meaning verified. Now, I recently found this channel, all right? I put up a playlist on my community tab. There's like 1,000 and maybe 300 of these. Go through the list, put in some requests for them. If I haven't seen the video, I'll react to the video, I'll break it down as best as I can, and then I'm going to watch the verified video, all right? Look, I reacted to this video right here, this Black Lives Matter video. It was literally one of the first videos I ever did. Look, before we let Dax explain this, I'm going to try and explain it as best as I can. And then we're going to let Dax tell us from his perspective. All right? Look, the video was amazing. The vocals in there was amazing. So beautiful, so well written. Straightforward to the point. Look, you guys can hate on the organization all you want to. All right? When we're talking about Black Lives Matter, the organization is not what we're talking about. If it is, then there's going to be a lot of negativity towards that. All right. We got to realize multiple things can have the same name, but we could be talking about two different things. All right. Thanksgiving is something most of us celebrate. All right. I don't know in other countries, but I know for sure in America, it is a national holiday. All right. However, we're not celebrating, the massacre and everything, all the negative crap that's been on. That's not what we're celebrating. All right. They're two totally different things, but they're called the same thing. So you got to ask somebody when they say, we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving. Someone else says, oh, you mean you're celebrating the massacre and the casualties? No, that's not on our minds at all. That's not what we're thinking about. All right. What we're doing here has got nothing to do with that. They're two separate things. All right. So we got to realize that. Black Lives Matter, same exact thing. If someone's saying Black Lives Matter, then ask them, what are you referring to? The organization or the movement? The movement is what I support. All right. If the organization was similar to the movement, if they were actually building communities, if they were, making communities better, where the crime rates and the poverty rates are, through the roof, if they were helping those communities, then fine, I would support them. I would. If they were actually showing us proof, all right, that they're building affordable housing, that they're creating jobs that people with, disadvantaged credentials could get. That is one thing that irks me so bad when they're talking about we're creating more jobs, right? We're doing so many great things. There's more jobs out there. Go get them, right? What does that do, though, for people that are disadvantaged and can't actually get those jobs? You see what I'm saying? Look, I'm going to explain to y'all what I'm talking about, all right? This is really upsetting for me that so many people don't see this connection, all right? What I mean by being disadvantaged is having a rough start at life, okay? When you grow up in bad neighborhoods and you see terrible shit going down on a regular basis, it probably is going to desensitize you. You're going to be in survival mode, all right? That is a normal part of life for you. No matter how bad you don't want it to be, it is. And so that is going to alter your personality. You become a product of your environment, all right? So all this, when someone, when we're talking about someone like George Floyd, who had a lot of criminal history, okay, and really wasn't a very good person. From what I've gotten, he robbed a pregnant woman, all right, held her at gunpoint. Terrible, terrible stuff. All right, there's no denying that at all. But we have to realize, more than likely, he was a product of his environment. Okay, most of us, if we grew up in an environment like that, we would probably be doing the same shit. No doubt. It's possible, a lot of us probably could overcome it and rise up and be better. But we can't cast judgment on those that were not so fortunate to be brought up in a good environment. All right. So what I say, yes, we can hold them accountable. All right. You did some messed up things and you should be persecuted for that in the court of law. You understand that? Just like everybody else. But I think we also should ask the question, what led you to this lifestyle? All right. And evaluate that and say, can we stop the next person from following in your footsteps? Why can't we evaluate that and say, you know what? We've got a lot of people out here in this specific area that are becoming a product of their environment because that environment is shit. So can we make that environment better? Instead of just, getting other people and saying, okay, well, you're this type of person, so now we're not going to let you have anything. We're going to push you over here in this bad environment. All right. And the other thing that I want to go ahead and point out too, once you start getting a criminal record, your chances of succeeding in life gets lower and lower and lower. That is what I mean by someone being disadvantaged. So what we got to do, we got to realize when someone starts getting a criminal record, they get further and further disadvantaged. Their life is going to get harder and harder and harder. Okay? It just is. So the other thing is, once someone, and of course, we have to realize some people are just criminals because they want to be, because they like the power, because they like to have, fancy cars and fancy jewelry, right? They like to do all these things. I'm not talking about those kinds of people. What I'm talking about is people who've gotten into that lifestyle in order to survive. All right? That's the people I'm talking about. But we have to realize, once you go down that path, you get in the system, eventually you're going to go to jail. And what have I said before? You become a product of your environment. They're going to take a person who was not trying to be a bad person, who was just trying to survive, who just wanted to go home and not have their kids look at them and say, are we going to be able to eat today? And you look at them and say, I don't know, I'm hungry too. I would like to have some food, but I just don't think we can today. Maybe tomorrow. All right? They don't want that. You understand? It gets, like I said, it gets harder and harder and harder to survive once you get in the system. Once you go down that path, look at it this way. Let's say you got felonies on your record. You want to get a job to where you don't have to worry about these things anymore because they're going to give you enough money so you can survive, so you can go into a nice neighborhood, all right, and not have to worry about where your next meal is going to come from. You see what I'm saying? But when those employers look at your record and say, arrested for dealing drugs, you see what I'm saying? Once they start seeing all these things, what are they going to do? Are they going to give this person a job? Hell no. They're going to say, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I've had people basically tell me that before, all right? Because of the area that I lived in, because it was close to a bad neighborhood. I went out putting applications all over the place. Ain't nobody going to call me back. Nobody, all right? So look, I get it. I think what we got to do, y'all, just listen. Listen to these people when they're telling you we're not getting a fair shake, all right? And what I think the solution is, you can have your record expunged, but it costs like $500, all right? I myself wanted to get an apartment. I couldn't because of some trouble that I was in. You understand that? I can't even get an apartment. I'm disabled, so of course I can't get a job. But if I wasn't disabled, I probably still wouldn't be able to find a job because of my criminal record. So, what the hell? All right? Here's the thing that gets me. The rhetoric that is creating a situation to where they have to tell us that their lives matter comes from the right. It comes from people like Candace Owens giving out those racist statistics. Black people make up 13% of the population and commit half the crimes. All right? It's rhetoric like that that gives cops the notion that it's okay to treat black people differently. Oh, it's a black guy? We better approach him with our guns out and our fingers on the fucking triggers. That's the shit that pisses me off. That's why they got to say Black Lives fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's as simple as that, y'all. They're saying, treat us like every fucking body else. That's it. Oh, man. And what's worse is it's coming from Candace Owens, who is a black woman. She's black, and she's saying black people are just more likely to be criminals. And completely ignores the situations and the culture that they grew up in that turned them into that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, y'all. All right, let's go, Dax. So I've heard a couple seconds of this, all right? Already loving it because Dax says, talking about saying that his life matters. All right, let's check this out, y'all.
Me saying that I matter shouldn't make you say you matter. Me saying that it's my birthday shouldn't make you say, well, your birthday is a week from now. Me saying I'm hurt shouldn't make you say, well, I was hurt a month ago. Why is it that, people saying their lives matter means that your lives don't? Saying Black Lives Matter isn't an attack on you.
Already so much fucking truth in this. Man. Look, someone else that I like is TMG Fam. I think it's something like that. TMG Fam. I'll put a link to his channel. I'll find the channel. I'll find the video. I'll put the video in the description, y'all. All right. What he was saying was that if your house is on fire, you're going to call the fire department and say, hey, my house is on fire, guys. Come help me put out this fire. And then your neighbors are going, what about my house? Don't you care about my house? And then he's like, your house ain't on fire, bro. Mine is. Stop standing there making it about you when there's nothing wrong with your fucking house. Come help me put my house out so it's not going to burn down and make me lose everything, or get back in your house and shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Look, I ain't going to sugarcoat my opinions. I ain't going to do that bullshit. I'm here to tell y'all the truth. All right? That's it. Let's go, Dax.
This song isn't attacking white people. You know, this song isn't attacking black people. The song is trying to let people know that we need to come together and that whatever it is we're trying to accomplish takes everybody, every race, every gender, every sexuality.
Oh man, Dax. Look, what gets me so fired up and so pissed off is everyone saying, oh, it's division. Tom McDonald said that. Oh, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. What's all this division for? It's not division, bro. It's unity. Watch the real protests. Stop watching Fox News. Stop watching CNN. Whatever channel's only showing you one side of the argument, stop watching them. Bear in mind, there's two sides to every story. And sometimes there's 3 sides, 4 sides, 5 sides. If you're not looking for the whole story, then you're getting fed propaganda. All right? Simple as that. If you watch the real protests, there were people from all over the globe coming together to say black people should not be treated differently because of the color of their skin. Simple. It's as simple as that, y'all. It's not division. It's unity.
The song isn't attacking white people. You know, this song isn't
attacking attack on nobody.
The song is trying to let people know that we need to come together and that whatever it is we're trying to accomplish takes everybody, every race, every gender, every sexuality, just everything. I just felt compelled to use my platform to make something that I felt everyone could sort of agree with what was being said. You know, like I chose from the words to the visual to even just the clips that were added inside of the music video. I tried to make a song that I felt was unifying to all people, all colors, all races. So yeah, just the current events going on in the world.
What's crazy is there's a lot of people I tried to get to watch the video. They wouldn't watch the video because of the title. It's like, I don't get it. Oh, man. You know, this whole division over Black Lives Matter, that in itself is the division. All right? Most of the negativity towards it is propaganda. All right? And people just eat it up. They eat it up. They're like, oh, look, they're burning down buildings. They're doing this and they're doing that. They're making white people kiss their feet. And I'm like, bro, you're looking at isolated incidents and trying to tie that in to Black Lives Matter as a whole. That's not fair. Then they're talking about websites. They're talking about this. They're talking about that. That's irrelevant. Maybe a few of them is going by this website as their whatever. That's irrelevant. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about a fucking website. We're not talking about a few people wanting white people to kiss their fucking feet. Like, you are gaslighting is what you're doing when you're bringing up all that stupid shit. It's gaslighting. You're trying to take a good thing and put a negative spin on it to gaslight. What you don't realize is you're helping the racist people out there, all right? That's what you're doing. The people doing the riots, in my mind, they were anti-Black Lives Matter, is what they were. Because everyone could tune into that and say, look what Black Lives Matter is doing. So they weren't Black Lives Matter. They were Black Lives Don't Matter. Anyone you saw jumping on a police car, turning police cars over, doing anything like that, they were Black Lives Don't Matter, all right? The people who were peacefully protesting, all right, saying George Floyd, saying Ahmaud Arbery, all right, those people were Black Lives Matter. They weren't doing anything wrong. Not all of them. There were a lot of fucking riots. We're not talking about that. If we want to talk about the riots, that's a separate argument, all right? Two totally different things. A lot of the news channels, they only wanted to show the riots. This is what everybody was doing. Protesting, tearing up shit, burning stuff down. One-sided argument, all right? We got to realize that. If you're getting one side of the story, you're getting propaganda.
Inspired it.
Yeah, this a revolution in our time. Everybody's fighting, change coming, yes. That's why it's an acronym for riot.
2020 is really a change, I think, in history. I think, you know, with the pandemic, this whole movement that's going on for Black Lives Matter and social injustices, you know, along with the current presidential election, you know, there's so many different factors, you know, things that are being like outed, like different, I hate talking about conspiracies, but different things that are like coming out. You know, I just think this is really a shift in.
I really like that he said that. You don't like talking about conspiracies. All right. That's something else that irks me. And you know what I'm going to do? Check this out. You guys couldn't see me do this before, but you can now, damn it. There's a like for Dax for getting on here telling us the fucking truth. All right? Hey, I stand with Dax, and I stand with Black Lives Matter. I don't buy into this bullshit that, you're not a black man, so you can't understand our struggle. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to say Black Lives Matter when you ain't black. That's bullshit. All right? If you can see what's going on in the world, then you can speak on it. That's something Dax even says in the song. If you say nothing, you are an accessory to violence. And at first, when I heard that line, I thought, is that really true? Is that really accurate? And then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? It is, and I'm going to explain it why. Before we even get to him explaining that line, and I'm pretty sure he's going to say exactly the same thing. All right? Evil happens when good men stand by and do nothing. That's what he's talking about. That's how it happens. When people stand by and do nothing and say nothing. And just say, oh, I'm just an innocent bystander. I don't got nothing to do with that. All right? But he's saying you're an accessory at that point because you have the ability to band together and say, you know what? This shit stops right here, buddy. It does. Look, the people watching, what was happening to George Floyd, I understand that they weren't prepared for that situation. All right? They were faced with cops. They wanted to intervene, but they were cops. They had weapons. They threatened them with mace. And if they had went any further, they probably would have threatened them with their firearms. Okay? So what do you do in that situation? I don't think anyone would know until they're faced with that situation. But I tell you what I would hope going forward people would start doing. Call 911. Put it on speakerphone and tell that dispatcher. The cops can hear you. Please tell them to get off this man so he can fucking breathe. Or you will be arrested for murder. Please tell them that. They're commanding, you see what I'm saying? Come on. And tell them, look, we have other officers coming to defuse the situation. So stop what you're doing, all right? And what I think needs to happen, every single cop needs to have a camera that they cannot turn off, all right? It should be evidence. If you tamper with that evidence, you are committing a crime. Tampering with physical evidence. Immediately. If they're caught doing that, they should be fired and prosecuted. All right? Every single cop should have to have a camera that is on at all times. They shouldn't be, I don't know, because right now, like their cameras only turn on as they're doing a stop or they're doing anything. I think they should be motion activated. If it's capturing motion, if it's capturing audio, then it should come on and start recording. All right? Maybe not the whole time, but if it starts to capture something, then there should be clips of that audio, video, whatever it is that's going on with that officer. All right? And possibly the data should go to a server at all times and be uploaded to a server. So that even if the cop thinks, oh, I can just turn off the camera or try and destroy it somehow, say someone punched me in the chest and broke my camera, right? The data still went to the server, so they can still view the video and then say, you did that yourself. You broke that fucking camera. And now you're going to go to court and be prosecuted and probably go to jail for tampering with physical evidence. How about that? And whatever criminal activity you did and tried to cover it up, you get prosecuted for that too. And you ain't going to be a cop no fucking more. How about that? That's what I think should happen. And it's not even just to protect the citizens. It's also to protect the officers. If the officers are doing everything right, but they're dealing with the suspect who wants to, do like the guy did in National Security, that funny movie, if they want to do that, because really, the cop in that movie, I'm going to see if I can play y'all a scene from it, because hardly anybody has seen that movie, really, I think, and it's such an interesting topic that they brought up. All right, let's check that out, and before we do, I'm really going to go into it, all right? If a cop is dealing with a suspect, and they're doing everything right, but the suspect is saying, oh, you're racist, oh, you're just going after me because of this or that, and then there's this whole thing, right? They take them to jail, they do everything they're supposed to do, but then that suspect is saying, oh, he hit me, he punched me in the face, he hit me in the gut, he stomped on my foot because I'm black, or because of something else he don't like about me. All right? Imagine a situation like that, and the cop saying, I didn't do anything like that. So it helps both sides. It creates evidence to exactly what took place. All right? So no one can say, he stomped on my foot and spit in my face. Where's the evidence? There should always be evidence, every single minute, that a cop is on force and dealing with. I don't care if he's rescuing a raccoon stuck in a drain somewhere. There should be footage of the entire thing. That way, so we know they didn't take a raccoon, stuff him down in the drain, and then start recording and say, ooh, I rescued a raccoon. You know what I'm saying? Someone in a comment on a video I was talking to, they were saying that. It was like, sometimes I like watching rescue videos. Just like sometimes it makes me think the timing is too perfect, and maybe there was something shady going on. Maybe they took some kittens, shoved them down in the drain, dirtied them up, start recording, say, I'm going to rescue these baby kittens, right? But what if there was footage showing this person rubbing dirt on them and pushing them? That would be horrible, all right? So that's what I'm saying. I completely agree. If someone is ever doing that, they should get put away for a long time for animal cruelty. All right. So having footage that they can't alter at all times available for anybody to look and see exactly what took place, there you go. And imagine this, going back to George Floyd, imagine if the dispatchers could connect to live feed of their cameras, of all those cops, all four of them. If they could view the footage live and then have a speaker through it, right? So everyone around can hear exactly what they're saying. Imagine a transparency like that. If the dispatcher could say, hey, I can see you're kneeling on a suspect. Please get off of him. He's saying he can't breathe. Sit him up and let him breathe. Okay? There's people coming to help alleviate the situation. But right now, obey my command strictly. Get off of George Floyd. Let him breathe. All right? And if he doesn't listen to that command, then they can say, listen to me. If you do not remove Derek Chauvin, I think is what his name was. They can say, if you do not remove Derek Chauvin off of George Floyd, you will be an accomplice. Every one of you will be an accomplice for violating George Floyd's civil liberty. All right? Imagine if they got that message, which they should have. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. The idea that none of them knew the severity of the situation that they were aiding in. They had ears. They could hear people telling them, he can't breathe. Someone was telling Derek Chauvin, you're a buster for that. You're a big man, ain't you? Huh? You're a clown, is basically what they were telling this guy. They were saying, you are killing him, sir. He can't breathe. Why can't you let him up and let him breathe? And you know what? I could only watch it once. Oh, man. When I first saw that, y'all, I kept thinking, okay, they got to get up now. People are telling them he can't breathe. And then he stopped talking. And I was like, they got to get up now and offer aid to him right now because he's unconscious. He's just laying there. And before that, but oh man, look, he tried to move and tried to get up. And you know what Derek Chauvin did? He put his arms under the bumper of the car to get more leverage on George Floyd's neck. That's what this man did as he was laying there saying, I can't breathe, everything hurts. That's what it's about. It's not about George Floyd necessarily. It's not about who George Floyd was. It's not about the phony $20. It's not about none of that shit. It's about the fact that they persecuted this man. They didn't allow him to breathe. That's what it's about. It's about what they did. It's not about George Floyd. You know, that right there, the first thing I ever heard from Candace Owens, the video she did about George Floyd. Oh, he was a terrible person. His criminal record's a mile long. That's not what we're talking about. All right? It doesn't matter. What matters is the cops were in the wrong. All right? They murdered someone with people watching and people recording and people telling them, you're killing this man. Okay? Look, this is a very simple thing. Everyone should be able to grasp and understand. Suppose you get in a fight. All right? Someone tries to rob you. Okay? You're a lot bigger than they are. Let's just imagine that. It's hypothetical. You're a lot bigger than they are. So you're like, you know what? I don't give a shit. We're going to fight because I ain't giving you my wallet. You start fighting. You get them in a headlock. You hit them in the gut. You knock them down to the ground and jump on top of them. Right? You're kneeling on their back and their neck or whatever else. And then they start saying, I can't breathe, man. I can't breathe. And then other people start coming around and they're saying, hey, you got to get off that man because you're about to kill him. All right? And then they start recording it. What the hell are you going to do if people are telling you you're about to commit a murder, sir? Are you going to keep the pressure and get more pressure on that man? Or are you going to get off and say, hey, I ain't doing nothing. It wasn't me that was making him say he can't breathe. Something's wrong with you. I'm going to get off of him immediately. If you're really not doing anything wrong, if you're not causing that, you're going to get off of him and get back and say, hey, I ain't doing nothing, man. Look, I got off of him. He's still having some issues. You know, I just want compliance for a minute just to, get him subdued. You know, I got cuffs. I got some rope. I tied his hands behind his back. I'm going to sit him up now and call the police and say, hey, this guy tried to rob me. All right. Are you going to do that? Or are you going to sit on top of that guy until he's dead and then say, hey, I didn't know I was killing that man? Come on. That's so freak. It's ridiculous, y'all. It's ridiculous. He knew what he was doing. They all did. They all did. There was only one person, that I would give a little bit of leniency on. The guy that kept telling Derek Chauvin, I think we should turn him over now. He can't breathe. He said that at least a few times. He should have been a lot more forceful. That's why I said a little bit of leniency. All right? And the reason being, instead of being an accomplice to Derek Chauvin, he could have not done what Dax was talking about. If you say nothing, you are an accessory to violence. It's directed at that cop that knew something is wrong, but yet I'm just going to vaguely say, hey, something's wrong, right? He can't breathe, sir. Just a couple times he said, hey, let's turn him over. he says, no, he's staying put. If he would have said, you know what, I'm not going to say nothing and be an accessory to violence. He could have said that. He could have turned to the other officer that was next to him and say, hey, I'm getting up. I think you should get up too, so we don't go to jail for an accomplice to what he's doing right now, violating this suspect's right to live. Okay? You understand that? He was handcuffed. Who in the hell thinks you can have a suspect handcuffed and you can sit on top of them for almost 9.5 fucking minutes? That don't work. And then they're saying they teach them these tactics. Bullshit. All right? That's bullshit. I'm going to tell you why that's bullshit. For compliance, yes. Knee on the neck for compliance. During the struggle, you're not going to kill someone by suffocating them for 30 seconds. That's bullshit. It ain't going to work like that. It takes time. Look it up how long it takes for someone to suffocate. All right? It's not an instantaneous thing. That's why he was able to say, I can't breathe. Because some people was like, oh, if he couldn't breathe, he shouldn't have been able to talk. No, that's not true. All right? It's really not. Do some real research. All right? Really. Do some real research and learn about these things before you start talking about it. Okay? You're not going to kill someone by putting your knee on their neck for 30 seconds. Sure, it's not going to feel good. You're going to be compliant for sure. But, as soon as you get compliance out of that person, you get the handcuffs on them, then you set them up on the sidewalk, you start talking to them, then you figure out what you're going to do. If you're going to take them to jail, you put them in the fucking cop car and take them to jail. They didn't do that. They took him to the morgue instead of going to jail. And here's the last thing I'm going to address. All right? Look, this could happen to anybody. Okay? The average person isn't going to know a deep fake of a dollar bill or a 20 or whatever it is fake. We're not going to know. This could literally happen to anybody. Suppose you got Xbox One. You put an ad on Facebook. I want to sell this Xbox. Come to my house, give me money, and the Xbox is yours. Perfectly legal transaction, right? But what if one of the 20s they had that they gave you is fake, but it looks real? You go to a convenience store and you try to use that $20 bill that you got from a legitimate transaction. Then they say, oh, wait a minute. That's a fake $20 bill. So you have broken the law. You, sir, have made this $20 bill. This could happen to anybody. Just because you might have that in possession doesn't mean you made that $20 fucking bill. I don't know exactly what the law is on that, but I'm pretty sure in order to get you for counterfeit, for counterfeiting money, they would have to do a search warrant on your house. They would have to find all the equipment, all the stuff you did to make that money in order to pin that on you. All right? Just having it and trying to use it. If you say, hey, I thought it was real. Someone else gave me that $20 bill, and they probably didn't know it was fake. You understand that? I seriously doubt they're going to go and let's go talk to this guy that bought the Xbox from you, and then let's ask him where he got it. Let's do a search warrant on his house. I don't think they're going to do all that. All right? Sure, they're going to say, hey, look, you bought a pack of cigarettes from this convenience store. You used some money that turns out it's no good. So you now owe this convenience store the balance. All right? So you're going to have to, make good on that transaction. You now owe this store. All right? So if you don't pay them, we're going to have a problem. They can sue you. All right? It would be, a bit ridiculous to sue someone over $20. But at the same time, it's like, well, you owe that convenience store that money. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. That's the whole thing right there. I'm pretty sure that's what should have happened. I mean, I'll do some research on it and see what actually happens when, someone has possession of a fake bill and doesn't know it. What happens to that situation? We'll have to do some research on it and see, but I'm pretty sure they're just going to say, the transaction already happened, and then they realized it afterwards. I don't know. Again, it's a little difficult because in that case, the transaction already happened. So it's like buyer's remorse for the convenience store because, well, you accepted that money when you should have, marked on it before you made the transaction. You see what I'm saying? So, again, I don't understand how this happens. That's on you, buddy. You sold him the cigarettes and whatever else it was. You accepted the money, put it in your drawer, then later on you mark on it and say, oh my God, that money's fake, buddy. That don't fly. You should have checked it before you sold him the shit. Then you would have said, hey, I'm sorry, buddy, this money's fake. You're going to have to, we're going to have to destroy it or whatever they do in that situation. I don't know. I'm guessing they would have to destroy it. All right, and probably say, we got to keep this, so we're going to have to destroy it because it's no good. You're not allowed to possess this. That's for sure. You're not allowed to possess fake money. All right, that's for sure. I don't know the ramifications of it. From possessing it when you didn't know it was fake, I can't see you getting in a lot of trouble over that. I really don't. Like, is it a law that says if you accept money from a personal transaction, you have to mark on all the bills and make sure they're all legitimate? I don't think so, y'all. I really don't. I think the only way they're going to get someone for counterfeit is if they got physical evidence that they themselves made that fake money. Then you get hit with it. All right, that's my understanding. I could be wrong. We can look into it at another time. But right now, I'm saying, for the $20 bill, George Floyd should not have been persecuted for that. If he had drugs on him or whatever else, then fine. All right, charge him for whatever illegal substances he had. If he had drugs in his system, then fine, charge him for that. But the whole thing just stinks. It stinks to high hell. I'm just going to watch the rest of this. We're already almost at an hour. All right, I have rambled and rambled, but look, I think I've said a lot of useful information here. Hopefully, anyone with any doubts about what Black Lives Matter stands for, hopefully this is going to reach you and say, look, it's about unity. It's about people coming together to say, look, if someone is persecuted and treated differently because of the color of their skin, we are going to protest for that person, to tell the system this person was treated unfairly and they need to have justice. All right? Let the justice system work for everybody.
Oh, shit's going crazy. And then I went on Google, I looked up acronyms for riot, and then I saw revolution in our time, and I was just like, yes! You know what I mean? Like, this shit's gonna fit perfectly. So that ended up being the first line, and yeah, I thought it was pretty dope. That's probably one of my favorite lines ever.
Everybody has a voice. Don't you dare stay silent. If you say nothing, you are an accessory to violence.
I've seen a lot of people saying, it's not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist. To not say anything is now a part of the problem. You can no longer just, it's not enough to just watch from the sidelines and be like, oh, that's cool. That's like, it's cool. It's happening over there, but it's not happening.
And you see, that's what I'm doing, y'all. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm saying, you know what? I got a platform. I'm going to, just like Dax, I'm going to use my platform to speak up for other people who I don't feel like they have enough of a voice to say, hey, wait a minute, they shouldn't have treated me like that. All right? Simple stuff. That's what Dax is talking about. If you got a platform, you don't even have to have a platform. You don't got to be doing what I'm doing. You don't got to be doing what Dax is doing. All right? If you got friends or family that thinks, oh, black people are naturally more likely to be criminals, and so they're going to treat black people differently, talk to them. Use your voice and say, hey, I don't think that's right. We shouldn't judge people based on how they look. We should judge them by the content of their character. You know what I'm saying? If they're pointing a gun at your face, then you can say, this guy is a robber. He wants to rob me. He's an armed robber. All right. If he's a black guy walking by himself at nighttime, and you're thinking, this is a shady guy right here. What's he doing? Who's he trying to rob? That's wrong. That's how this shit happens. Listen to the tape from George Zimmerman. All right. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play it right now. I'm going to play it for you guys so you guys can see what I'm talking about. When I say it's not that people are saying, oh, black people are treated different. That's why they're pissed off. Because that's what Tom McDonald said, which was wrong. That's not why they're pissed off. They're pissed off because sometimes they are treated different because of the color of their fucking skin. That's what they're talking about, y'all. That's what they're saying. They're not saying, oh, they're saying I'm a victim, and so now I'm pissed off. Not what they're saying. It's not. We're not saying all black people are victims. We're not taking an entire group of people and putting them together and saying, you're this, this group over here is that, this group over here is that. That's racist. If it's race, then that's racism. Racism, there's other similar things. If it's not based on race, then it's similar to racism, right? If you're talking about poor people or this or that, that's classism. Now you're putting all poor people together and saying, oh, these people are scum beneath my boot. Or if you're talking about drug addicts are scum beneath my boot, and I can squash them and kick the shit out of them, right? That ain't right. It's not. It's similar to racism, but it's not race in that situation. But mostly what we're seeing is people putting black people in one group and saying, these people are bad. They're committing half the crimes, and they make up a small part of the population, very small. So white people are perfect little angels who ain't doing shit wrong. Oh, man. Like, could you imagine? So you think all the prisons are mostly black people, right? That it's like prisons are full of black people, and there's only a few white people. That what you think? Bullshit. I'm telling you, that's wrong. We're already an hour and 4 minutes in, y'all. I'm not going to play George Zimmerman right now, but what George Zimmerman was saying is there's this black kid walking down the street. I'm going to chase him or something like that, and he says, they always get away. Watch the tape. There's a documentary on it. Watch it. Listen to his conversation, and then start to understand. He wanted to persecute. He wanted to attack. He wanted to stop this person from getting away. It's ridiculous, y'all. All right, let's finish up this video. Let's go, Dax.
To me, so
tell us the truth.
If you're not even with the movement let it be known so people can at least know where you stand.
Let these words dry the tears of my people who are crying. We can bring back hope, but not the people that are dying. This is what happens when the people you've oppressed ask for change in the country that they built, but you've ignored and denied it. This for Sandra Bland, George Floyd, and every single family police brutality is intervened in and destroyed.
Everyone's seen the most public, police brutality cases,
Press ask for change in the country that they built, but you've ignored and denied it. This for Sandra Bland, George Floyd, and every single...
I don't know anything about Sandra Bland. Obviously, I know quite a bit about George Floyd, though. Police brutality has intervened
and destroyed everyone.
And destroyed, I think is what he said. Absolutely. Absolutely. This whole thing, I watched, who was it? I watched Lil Wayne. They asked Lil Wayne what he thought about Black Lives Matter. He laughed it off and left the interview. And he said, basically, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, look at how much success I have. How in the hell am I going to say Black Lives Matter? Basically, what he was saying was, how can I acknowledge the fact that there is a stigma that says Black lives don't matter, and that's why we feel we need to inject that into society and say, hey, Black lives matter, or at least they should. But then you got Lil Wayne, and he's looking at himself, looking at the things he has, and he's completely ignoring the people who don't have anything. Their voice is squished completely. Nobody's listening to them. That's the problem. People like Lil Wayne. I'm sorry to put Lil Wayne out there like that, but in this situation, he's wrong. I'm sorry, Lil Wayne. Look, I love your music, bro. I love your music. All right? But on this topic, you've missed the bar, buddy. You've missed it. It's not about you. Please try to get that. All right, Lil Wayne? It ain't about you. It's not about Barack Obama. Oh, because we had a black president, racism is dead. We've moved past it. Now black people can have and achieve anything they want. The sky is the limit, like Biggie says. All right? But for the average person living in poverty, especially those that have been further disadvantaged from other racial groups, okay, they have a harder chance. They're going to have bigger hurdles to overcome in order to be successful. That's not victim blaming. It's not saying they're victims. It's not saying anything like that. It's just acknowledging the fact that we don't all have the same opportunities. If someone's born into poverty, like let's imagine Lil Wayne, I don't know what his childhood was like, but let's just imagine Lil Wayne was born into poverty and had nothing. But he was born with a gift of being able to rap, all right? So his opportunities is the sky. The sky is the limit for Lil Wayne, all right? But Lil Wayne should look at his neighbors who is born into the same poverty and doesn't have any natural born gifts to perform, to play music, to play the piano, to, be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, become a world famous body lifter, right? They're not going to have the same opportunities. Lil Wayne, of course, he's going to grow up and be a world famous rapper and be badass at it. His neighbor, on the other hand, who was born into the same situation, is not going to have the sky as the limit. The roof is the limit for him. All right? Not saying he's a victim, but just acknowledging the fact he's going to have a harder life. All right? He's going to have to go and sell drugs in order to feed and provide for his family. He's probably going to get caught. He's going to go to jail. He's going to be around other criminals who's going to teach him how to be a better criminal and hopefully not get caught so much. And the right, talking about the Republicans now, they want to say that, and even Denzel Washington said something that was great. It starts in the home. If both parents are in the home and they provide a good childhood, then that child is going to have more and better opportunities to be successful in life. All right? But what if the father, through really no fault of his own, because he wanted to provide for his family, he already been busted. He's got a criminal record. Any job he tries to get, they're going to do a background check. And when they see he's been busted for this, this, and that, they're usually going to say, fuck you. We're not giving you a job. We don't trust you. There's no reversal that's available to you to say, and that's what I think should happen. All right? That's exactly what I think should happen. Nonviolent crime should never go to prison. Ever. Ever. You get busted with drugs, I think what should happen is they should write you a ticket, just like a speeding ticket. A ticket to where you have to go and appear in court. All right? Possibility. Now, just a thought. You get busted, you got cocaine on you. All right? You were planning on selling it. So there's no jail time for that whatsoever because it's not a violent crime. All right? So you have to go to court, and then they're going to give you a fine or they're going to give you community service. But it's not going to go on your public record to where if you want to get a job, then they can say, oh, wait a minute, you got busted for trying to sell drugs. All right? That should not be public record. Give that person a chance to rise above what they were before. So we're going to do a review. We're going to do a part 2 to this. We're going to go over that movie. I don't remember what it was called. I think it had Martin Lawrence in it. The guy was going to rob his boss, I think, was going to steal his money out of his safe, right? And eventually it got to the point where it was showing Martin Lawrence, where he was putting in applications. His kids were going hungry. He was struggling, trying to survive, all right? He started off, Martin Lawrence, trying to rob the guy that was in Shawshank Redemption. I don't remember what his name was. Nick Beam, I think, was what his name was in the movie. All right, Nick Beam. I tell you what, we're going to do a review of that movie. Since I've already seen it, I'm going to skip through a lot of it. We're just going to play specific scenes, all right, so I can do it pretty quick. It'll probably be an hour long because I'm telling y'all, great freaking movie, all right? So get prepared for that. It'll be a review, all right? So this video right here is just to get you guys amped up for that. It's going to be a great discussion.
Police brutality cases, Sandra Bland, George Floyd, Eric Garner, and there's a whole bunch of more names. The George Floyd case, it was hard to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to have his knee on his neck like that for, I think it was like 8 minutes. The whole time I was just
9.5.
They just put him in the car.
A couple bad cops can't define all you other boys, so every good cop needs to stand up and make some noise.
That right there, y'all. Right there. Every good cop needs to stand up and make some fucking noise.
Doesn't matter because we can't avoid, so let's all come together, join hands, and yes, get annoyed at people who believe racism makes sense in the country built off minority, slave work employed. Nobody's born racist, man. It's something you learn, deep rooted in your brain from the day of your birth.
No one's born racist, Racism is not a
All right. I think now we're just going to let Dax talk for the rest of the video. Hopefully. He's speaking way too much truth, y'all. Every time I start to play it, he brings up some good points. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Now I got to talk about that. Let's go, Dax. Tell us what the news won't tell us. All right?
predominantly white and you've never seen a black person before. Maybe your community's predominantly black and you've never seen a white person before. You go to church, you always see a white Jesus. There's so many different things that are, programmed into your brain as a child with the media that I just think it makes you see color.
I think it's time that we repair all of these bridges we burned and let love out of our hearts onto the cheeks we've turned. Spread love, show love. Let's get rid of this curse. Don't wait for anyone to act. Man, you go first. 400 years wasted. Let's get rid of this hurt.
Take the initiative. He said, let the love out of your heart and share it. Spread love, not hate.
The country was built off the hard work of those people. So the country wouldn't be where it's at if all that didn't happen. We can't go back on that time, but now it's time to recognize what happened.
Progress forward.
The effects
make things better.
It's had on the people that are still going on and understanding that.
Change is what we really need. Cut me open, cut you open, red's the color every single human being bleeds.
Unity, we're all human.
Citizens and in between, and rally for the rights of everybody in humanity.
What inspired that it was my hope for change.
Rally for the rights of every human being. Everybody. If you're treated unfairly, we are going to riot for you. Not riot in literal sense, what most people associate with it. Oh, maybe they're going to tear up stuff and burn it down. No, that's like I said, man, look. It's like I said, y'all, you can have multiple things with the same fucking name, all right? If someone says we're going to riot, don't assume they mean they're going to go burn some fucking buildings down. Don't assume that shit. Ask them, what exactly are you wanting to do? We're going to go protest. We're going to use our voices. We're going to write on signs. We're going to say Black Lives Matter. We're going to say George Floyd because what happened to him was wrong. We're going to say Breonna Taylor because what happened to her was wrong. Because her boyfriend was calling out for help. Help! Help! Come help her. She's dying. She's dying. Come help her, please. Don't let her die. What did cops do? Nothing. They sat outside and waited until she was dead.
I mean, it's like me trying to urge people to come together. It's not necessarily because of something I saw. She's like, that's my wish for the world.
Black, blue, white, green, playing for the same team. Mine MLK, but boy, that doesn't mean I can't dream.
There's a bunch of people who just will pull up an MLK quote and be like, well, this shouldn't be happening. Look what MLK said, and he was da-da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? And then the people will come back, well, you guys offed MLK too.
Black lives matter shouldn't anger you or make you scream. All lives matter because we aren't treated equally. Remember when we were kids and didn't see colors, and when we played in kindergarten and I called you my brother? Then we grew up and they taught us we should hate on each other even though we weren't in the same and we all came from our mothers.
I was first going to a school in St. Bridget.
We one in the same, y'all. We all human beings. All of us. Yes, because we have different backgrounds, different cultures, different heritages. We're going to be different. We're going to have different things we like to do. But that doesn't mean we got to be enemies, y'all. It means we can learn about other cultures and we can learn about stuff we had no idea about. That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Come on, y'all. You can't be so close-minded that your heritage and your culture and all that is the only thing that matters. If you're that close-minded, something's wrong. Take a look around and listen to other people and what they're telling you. Because I guarantee you, most of them, their opinions are based on their life experiences. Not what they saw on TV. Most of what they're going to tell you is based on stuff they experienced themselves. So start listening to people. They say something you don't agree with, explain why. Tell them, say, hey, I've experienced different stuff than you, and I see the world differently. Can't you have that discussion? Can't you learn from each other? Can't you say, hey, your opinions matter to me, and my opinions matter to you also. So we can have a long discussion, and we can learn about each other's heritage, the culture, how you grew up, what kind of things you saw. That's interesting to me.
White kid. And it started off as a rivalry initially, but that rivalry then turned into like best friends. But then once we got into high school, there became like this like tension,
a stigma.
Sometimes I'll get this feeling, and I've heard it before, like I'll be with like some of these like white people I know, and I can just like know like when they get mad at me in their head, they're calling me the N-word. I just remember there one argument with like that group of friends, and like where they just said it out loud. They were just like, well, fuck you, boom, and they just like, it just dropped. And it was just like that confirmation of just like, wow, this tension that I felt was there the whole time.
I'm gonna interject here, Dax. I get it. You get called that, it pisses you off, it makes you feel inferior. I get it, 100%. However, what I will say, sometimes it might not be all because of them. Like he says in his song, racism is not inherited, it's taught, right? You're not born with it. You're raised up that way. And what can happen is someone who's not inherently, or not, they're not that way. However, that rhetoric has still seeped in, and then they get, they get flustered, their brain starts going, and then bam, it comes out of nowhere. Then sometimes they could be like, shit, I shouldn't have said that. But that's what my dad always did when he was mad. You see how that can happen? So what I want to say, if someone calls you a slur like that, just try to understand. Try to say, fuck that noise, buddy. You don't need to call me that. We're on the same playing field here, all right? We both got, a sense of morality. We both are human beings. You don't got to try and dehumanize me. Don't make me out like I'm a villain. All right, so please don't call me those racial slurs, buddy. I don't like that. All right, so try to do that instead of just exploding and being like, oh, this guy's just so fucking racist. Try to understand it, but try to push that back just a little bit, just enough to say, wait a minute, maybe this guy just needs some understanding. Maybe he just needs to understand I'm a human being, and what you just said makes me feel like you don't think I'm a human being. I'm below you. No, I'll prove it to you. All right, whatever it takes. Don't call me that no fucking more, or else we're going to have some real problems. I can understand that. So just try, someone calls you that, try to think maybe it's just seeped in from their parents, their grandparents, all right? A little bit more understanding and a little bit more, discussion. Explain to that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you can get hurt physically really bad for calling people that, for sure. People will mess you up. You want to go around using that kind of language, buddy? It ain't going to work out very good for you. That's the fact of the matter. So can we get past that? Stop using that kind of language. We can have some real discussions. Try not to hold it against them. Try to think about what Dax is saying in his song. It's learned. But we can unlearn that. We can explain to that person, hey, you're wrong. Your parents were wrong. I'm sorry to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Your grandparents grew up during slavery times. Okay? It was passed down. They were, born in a racist era. So their kids were born in a racist era. And it's passed down. It just keeps going. Break the cycle. If you get mad, punch your man in the face. You've not done anything towards breaking the cycle. You got to have that communication. Say, hey, buddy, that's wrong. You shouldn't go around calling people that. That's going to stir up a lot of shit that you don't want. So talk to me like I'm a human being. And if I did something you don't like, talk about that. All right? If I was supposed to give you a 50, I accidentally gave you a 20, and we argued about that, talk to me about that. Don't bring up my race. Don't bring up anything else. Bring up what I did. We'll have a discussion about that, buddy. It's as simple as that.
Me and him just ended up going like our separate ways, and as we got older in high school, eventually we were just like estranged. We were just like the hall, you know what I mean? It's like
they could have been best friends, y'all.
You were best friends with when you were like 4th, 5th, 6th grade.
Yeah.
Just like constantly got pulled.
I hope y'all understand. Hate is not a trait. It was learned, man. Equality is the quality we need inside this earth, man.
This line right here, I think, sums up Black Lives Matter as a whole. As a whole, equality is the quality we need. Simple. Equality. Everybody's in the same fucking boat. A lot of us who are born in poverty, we got some struggles. We want to tell the world about our struggles. When we do that, though, sometimes other people who don't have the same struggles. They feel left out. And they say, what about me? What about, or they say, well, you ain't the only one struggling. They never said that, bro. They're just telling you about stuff they've been through. That's it. Can we focus on that for a minute? All right? Once they tell you about what they're going through, then you can tell them about what you're going through. You can put your voice out there too. Don't try and take their voice away from them just because you feel left out. To me that is, that's a bitch baby. That's what a bitch baby is. Your baby, you're a fucking baby crying because you ain't getting no fucking attention. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, y'all. Stop the silly shit, all right?
Inside this earth, man. Give and receive. It's the karma that you earn, man.
I decided to end it with karma because I just think it's like an unwritten rule in the world. Also, I mean, listen, I don't like the word karma, to be honest. Good things happen to good people, bad things happen to good people. Good things happen to bad people, and bad
across
things
the board.
Happen to bad
It's
people.
a mixture.
The
It's a mixed bag.
Is that, if we go hard at it now, we can secure a safer and better world for our future children. So that's what karma in my head when I was writing it was for.
Look, I know it's not going to happen. I fucking know it's not. I'm going to say it anyways, though, even though it's wishful thinking. I would love for Dax to watch this premiere and give me his feedback. I know, even if he comes, which I already know is like reaching for the stars, basically. But can you just imagine how happy that would make me to have Dax watching my video and commenting and saying, you're explaining this perfectly, or at least I'm hoping that's what he would say. Even if not, even if he's like, you're getting some stuff wrong, totally fine. Totally respect it. You know what I'm saying? If Dax wants to come at me and say, hey, buddy, you got some stuff wrong, let's talk about it. I'm game for it. You know what I'm saying? All right. I will see y'all in the next video. Till then, I'm out.